Cool. So we're here with my boy Matthew. Spent the weekend there in Cape Town. We did some um, pretty interesting things, like yeah, that we'll get into. Learn a lot of things, and yeah, I'm excited to get into things. Just this, YouTube video. We literally talked about it like this morning. We're like, yeah, we should just form like a YouTube video, talk about everything,
Mm.
not really structured, just business, psychology, everything goes. Diet, eating raw steak.
Yeah.
We can get into all of it. So I think the niche
Yeah.
type of content does really well where it's just like I think people really deeply crave that. It's just where you just share the most normal things that you do during a day. It's like, oh, I do this exact
Mm.
niche thing that's really like seems weird, but then people connect with that. I think authenticity is really like a big thing. So yeah,
Mm.
like no structure,
For
just
sure.
letting it flow. So yeah, we're excited to get into things.
100%. Yeah, for sure. I think what's epic, Andrew, like just having you in Cape Town this weekend, um, I really like how we've got a lot of similar habits. And I think like one of the number one things that ensure like good relationships, whether it be with friends or romantic relationships, I think is compatibility, especially in terms of like habits. And I think also just like in terms of strong friendships, having friends that have healthy habits that you admire. And like it was so cool, like this morning, how you and I were just looking at each other's YouTube stats, and we were talking about funnels and like talking about ads and call to actions on videos, and
Mm.
then you and I are talking about diet and calories and low intensity cardio and like carnivore, all of that stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of people in this world that are like how do I say, upset or kind of a bit in despair with their friendships and their romantic relationships. And I'm like, you can find your people, like you can find your tribe. You just need to put in the reps. Like you just need to keep looking. Like you'll eventually find the friends that want to do what you want to do, that are on the same page with you, that they want the same out of life as you do. And the same for romantic relationships. Like you will find the person who's on the same page with you, like spiritually, politically. How would we raise our children? What would our values be like? What do we do for fun? What are our hobbies like? What do we, like how seriously do we take one another? What boundaries do we set? All of those things. And I think a lot of people just settle for very subpar friendships and very subpar relationships. And that's something I was
Mm.
thinking about a lot this weekend.
Yeah. Chris Williamson, Chris Williamson. Quentin always says Chris Williams. And like I always correct him, like it's
Yeah.
Chris Williamson because like one day when we might meet him, I know he's
Yeah.
doing like a self-discovery in South Africa. It's like coming like
Yeah.
you can't be like, yo, Chris Williams. Or it's like this guy you meet in the gym and you don't know quite his name,
Mm.
like, yo, Thomas, you're just trying to is it
Yeah,
like is that
exactly.
so
Exactly.
but
Uh,
he said this thing where he's like, um if you can't get what you want, you teach yourself to want what you can get. Like
yeah.
you like when you're younger, you have these big goals and dreams and aspirations, like what you want to achieve. You
Mm.
like, naturally, we're all just when we're younger, we have this like massive dreams. That's also why I have this tattoo,
Mm.
the DreamWorks.
That's
It's
so
like,
cool.
yeah, like when we grow older, we naturally lose like that childlike curiosity and that ability to dream because like in society, in school, whatever parents maybe, they just like you have these big dreams and like, oh no, don't do that. Like they're constantly pushing you down. But I feel like that's a super skill. And I also said that you want to have man-like discipline and childlike curiosity,
Mm.
blending the two.
100%.
But most people are just like I would even say in today's world, the childlike curiosity beats the discipline. Like honestly speaking, you want to
Yeah.
have both,
Yeah.
obviously. Like you want to have both.
Mm.
But if you're just like this rigid
Mm.
guy who's like disciplined, not thinking out of the box,
Yeah.
you're like a cog in the machine.
Yeah. Bro, I like what you're saying there in terms of like the childlike curiosity because I think that Layla Homozy said, she said like if you don't enjoy doing something consistent, she spoke about discipline. And she said if you cannot enjoy it, you will never be disciplined. And I think that's it's such a good way of seeing it because I think a lot of people think that discipline means doing something you hate doing. But in life, you can. you could optimize your life in a way that the things that you enjoy are beneficial for you. So for example, like
Mm, that's so true.
let's talk about
Like di
um
diet
burning calories. Yeah, burning
or gym,
calories or
yeah.
diet. Yeah, exactly. Like, so for me, what I found is that I really hated doing like multiple meals a day and then calorie restricting. I absolutely hated doing that. And it was so hard for me to stick to that. Then when I discovered carnivore and intermittent fasting, I could eat 2 meals a day where I had exactly what I wanted. Like I ate the steak that I wanted. I ate the amount of eggs that I wanted. Like I had exactly what I wanted and I was still in a calorie deficit. And also like let's talk about like cardio. So like I really like walking. I love doing long distance walks. Like typically every single morning I will walk for at least 2 hours. So my routine, especially during the week, is I walk an hour to gym, train, and then I walk an hour back. And I do this very early so that I'm back by like at least 8 a.m. So you see, that's what I really enjoy. For me, knowing that I'm walking to gym, like to a destination and back, it works so well in my routine. And so you can optimize and engineer your life in a way that you're doing things that you enjoy. And it's
Mm,
also like, let's say for example, like reading, okay? So for me, I really like listening to audiobooks while I walk, and I feel like I can get a lot further in a book by listening to audiobooks.
yeah,
And so on my walk, I listen to an audiobook, or if I'm at the gym wanting to get more steps on the treadmill, listening to an audiobook. So you can find ways that you enjoy being productive.
exactly. And another part of that is like diet. Like I've never been
Mm.
on a diet in my entire life. People are like, "What's the diet you follow?" Like I eat food I enjoy every single day.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
I ate a shit ton of carbs like before this. So if there's like some slur going on where I'm just getting dumb, that's probably it. Yeah, like I ate.
What carbs did you have?
Yeah, so I had this like massive yogurt bowl, or like 220 grams
Mhm.
of yogurt, um, like 200 grams of blueberries, some honey, and a banana. They're like
Oh,
straight up carbs, and then also
so
like
good.
a scoop of whey protein with that. Already had enough protein this morning. Like we had
Yeah.
shit, eggs
Another
and
yogurt bowl, bro.
yeah, yeah.
Oh no,
And then
you didn't have yogurt. I had today. Yeah.
yeah, and then with that, I had two slices of sourdough plus cottage cheese and some honey, and on the side, like a
Yo.
pumpkin pudding type of thing, like a pumpkin pie.
Mm.
This is straight up just
Yo,
carbs.
it sounds good.
Like
Bro, it sounds
tomorrow's
good,
pump's
bro.
gonna be insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, bro. Yeah, like what you're saying about the pump. I did the lion diet a while back, where that's Michaela Peterson's diet, where it's
Oh yeah.
so strict, bro. It's literally red meat, salt, and water. I added in black coffee though. I couldn't go without caffeine, but literally it's like no eggs, no dairy, no carbs, no fruit, no veg, like nothing, just red meat, salt, water. And I did that, and bro, I did that for about 6 weeks, and I was eating like 1.2 kilograms of meat a day, and I think I dropped like 7 kilograms.
Mm,
And bro, I just had like, bro, exercise was quite difficult. Just like it's zero carbs in your system. So I felt like a little bit weak at gym. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Like the carbs do help with a pump. And then I like also what you said, Andrew, like you've never been on a diet in your life. Like you've just found a good way to eat, you know, you just found a good way to eat. And
mm,
that's it. Like it doesn't even have to feel like a diet. And even like that, bro, eating yogurt, berries, honey, it's that for me. I was literally on a phone call with my friend Koen on the way back from gym this afternoon, and I was saying to him like yogurt, berries, and honey gives me more of a dopamine hit than ice cream, and I freaking love ice cream.
yeah.
But it's like I can just the dopamine hit is so much stronger from eating whole foods.
Mm. Yeah, talking about dopamine, I think people's dopamine receptors are completely fried nowadays. I feel like there's
Yeah,
this
yeah,
massive divide that's happening at the moment. Like we talked yesterday at like the pool party. We said that
mm,
South Africa has the highest screen time in the world out of every
yeah.
country in the world, with 9.9 hours and 37 minutes a day, which basically means that
He's like.
It's
It's the
like,
whole day, bro.
yo, so first off, it's they spend more on their phone than they do sleeping. Okay, let's say on average they sleep 8 hours.
Yeah,
But these people
yeah,
are probably sleeping like six, if you just understand their
yeah.
mentality. But anyway, let's say eight
Yeah.
hours, right? So it's an hour and a half more than they're sleeping, and that's the first off. And then
Mm,
with the waking hours, let's just say it's 10 hours to make the math simple, and 8 hours of sleep. That means they have 6 hours left during the day where they're not on their phone, the 16 hours, right? So which means that like the digital world is the real world because they're spending 9.5 hours a day on their phone and then 6 hours in real life. So they're spending more hours on their phone. So like the digital world is the real world. And with all that said, if you can just become a creator, you on the other side, you can capture all of this opportunity
bro,
that's out there.
bro, spot on. I was literally, I remember us talking about that yesterday, like because we also what we said is like when we saw certain people at that party, like we were just naming Instagram usernames, and I think someone was like, "Oh, do you also do that?" Like I think Jared said that he was like, "Do you also do that where like you refer to
Yeah,
people by their Instagram handle, like how they've abbreviated their surname or whatever?" And then we were like, "Yeah, the digital world's the real world." Um, but yeah, and I also like what you said about being a creator. Literally on that phone call that I had this afternoon on the way back from gym. I was mentioning that stat that you said, like, if you've posted more than 30 YouTube videos, you're in the top 1% of creators worldwide. And then I said to my friend Koen, I was like, bro, it's so much better to create than it is to consume. Like, it's
that's
so
yeah,
much more rewarding. And, bro, like, so many people are just like mass consumers. And the things like, if you think about it, if you've ever doom scrolled on Reels, it's like by the end of it, like, you're so up, like, you, you feel so empty and it's like nothing feels pleasurable. And it's just because you've depleted all this dopamine. But when you go outside and you build something or you exercise or like you do a podcast or whatever, it's like there's more and more and more dopamine just becomes available for you. And you also just become an interesting person. You've got interesting stories to tell. You become wiser. You meet more high level people. You accomplish cooler things. And I think a lot of people they're so trapped in consuming, and all their friends are so trapped in consuming, and consuming is just that's the modus operandi. And I was even thinking about this today, the fact that there's this weekend in Cape Town, there was like four festivals yesterday. There was like probably two or three. Yeah, I know, I definitely know of two that are happening today on a Sunday. And it's like, how many people partied Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and all you're doing is consuming.
mm-mm.
You're consuming alcohol, you're consuming entertainment. It's like you're just consuming food. And then it's like they wonder why Monday morning they're depressed. It's because they've just spent their whole weekend consuming.
Dopamine is
And the thing is,
depleted.
yeah, it's so depleting. And I also think about this, okay? Like God is our father, God is creator. So are we because we're his sons. Now, we will find most joy, most pleasure, most fulfillment by living according to our nature. And our nature is that of create. Even when God created, um, you know, God and us when the heavens and earth were created, and then Adam and Eve were here, like he told him to go and like the garden is yours, like go wild, go create what you want, go look after it. Like Adam went to go name the animals, and it's like we're gonna find most joy and fulfillment when we're creating because that's our DNA. It's who we are.
Mm. I think people are so scared. Like I was also scared to like kind of put yourself out there. Before I go into that point, like the thing about the digital world is the real world kind of thing. Like everyone has a personal brand, right? That's the thing. Like everyone has a
Mm,
digital presence. Some people's digital presence are just working against them. Like
yeah, 100%.
they got like 20 followers and like a great profile picture. It's like that is your
Mm,
digital presence, my guy. Like
yeah.
so.
I was even thinking about like today, like digital presence, like people who post a ton of stories from like parties or festivals. And I'm like, you know what? Nothing wrong with going to a party, nothing wrong with going to a festival, but do you want that to be your brand, you know?
Mm-mm-mm.
Like like also think about this, Kay. You didn't have to do anything to earn a spot there besides paying for a ticket. So it's like, so why would you show that off? Like it didn't require any skill, didn't require any commitment, didn't require any dedication to do that. Like if you're gonna post something, rather post a Strava like a screenshot of where you ran 20 kilometers. But the things like I often think about this, it's like some people who just post like story after story after story of just festival, festival, club, festival. And I'm like, you didn't, it required no skill, no dedication, no commitment, no nothing to achieve that.
Mm.
All you did was buy a ticket, you know?
Yeah. And the thing with consuming is like obviously I love to consume information as well, but it's mostly like educational
Mm.
books and like
Yeah,
knowledge and audiobooks and like valuable podcasts, not like mind-numbing
yeah.
stuff. I also think there's a point where not a point, but like maybe seasons where you don't consume as much, you just like do nothing or like just be
Mm.
like Eckhart Tolle sense, just like
Mm.
I'm so excited to I'm like done finishing building modules for like until Christmas time ish or whatever. I'm excited to
Hmm.
not just like not create in a sense and just linger in that feeling of
Just
just
be,
yeah,
yeah.
just be like that's where most of the new information and stuff is gonna come from.
Mm.
And I feel like I've just like overstimulated, not in like the consumption sense, but just like just being on all the
Mm.
time. I think it's good to just like boom, just like flat out. I'm excited for that. We're going to like Bloemfontein to a safari, like in nature,
Awesome.
wild,
Mm.
driving horses, riding horses,
Mm.
just like more just
Yeah,
like primal stuff. I'm excited for that. Yeah.
yeah. Bro, something I also want to talk about is bro science.
Mm.
I I'm such a fan of bro science and
Trust me, bro.
it's yeah, trust me, bro. You know what's so funny is like, for example, carnivore diet. Like, bro, you bring up the carnivore diet and people are like, aren't you scared? Isn't that gonna be bad for your health? And I'm like, why not just figure it out? Why not just try? Like, are you so scared? Or like people, some people are scared of going out in the sun. Like,
Mm-mm-mm.
oh, aren't you scared of getting this and that by being? And I'm like, do you know how disappointed your ancestors would be hearing the stuff you say? Like, oh, you scared of eating a steak every day? You're scared of being in the sun? It's like coming from the person who finishes like 3 vapes a week is like consuming so much seed oil, eating like a
Bro
hundred
says
grams
it.
of sugar
Yeah.
sugar a day, and you're the crazy one because oh you just eat steak and eggs. Oh, you don't wear sunblock, you're in the sun. And I just want to tell people, I'm like, listen, you don't need anyone's permission to go and try. Like, go and try stuff. Like, and that's the things even for me, like with food. It's like I've experimented, I've seen what my body responds the best to, different types of exercise. It's like like don't be an NPC. Like you do not need permission to go and try stuff. Like just bro, I just can't understand that whole like sheep fear mentality. It's like, oh, you can do that? I'm like, yes, you can do whatever you want.
You go. You got complete free will. Complete. And the thing is, I recently started doing like this mouth tape, right? And
Yeah,
instantly when
love
people
it.
hear like mouth tape for like sleep, basically for the
Yeah.
people listening.
Oh, bro, aren't you gonna suffocate when you
Yeah,
sleep?
the first thing,
Bro.
like it's like almost like they don't oh wait, how do I say this? So you say something controversial, whatever, like something is that's like, yo,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like that's not norm, like that's not something that's said in a normal conversation. Like, oh, I
Yeah.
eat like a steak a day. It's like the first thing that comes in the mind is boom, negative, or they cut off the idea of
Yeah.
entertaining the idea. It's like
Mm.
I mentioned to someone, I'm not gonna mention a name, but like I was like, yo, I'm trying out this mouth tape. The first thing I said is the best sleep I've ever had, zero brain fog. I feel amazing. Try it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
first thing they said is, yo, I'm gonna suffocate. I can't do that. My nose, like I'm gonna die. Like they cut. I literally said, this is the best I've
Bro.
ever felt.
Bro.
I've
Bro.
zero brain fog. I worked from like 8 in the morning until like 8 at night. Zero brain fog. Amazing. And they're like, no, you could literally give
Yeah.
people gold, like literal
Uh,
gold, and say like, "Yo, here's like the freedom. Here's
mm.
everything you've ever wanted." No,
Mm.
it's insane.
Bro, 100%. I had the exact same experience. So I've been mouth taping for like a couple of years now, and every person that
And
I've
the
told,
blindfold.
the yeah, yeah, and the eye mask, so dialed in, and a room that's absolutely freezing. But bro, like I've told people about mouth tape, and they go, "Oh, aren't you scared you're gonna suffocate?" And I'm like, you know what? if that's the way it ends, like at least I was doing something that I enjoyed. But honestly, it's like people are so scared. It's like, bro, you're supposed to breathe through your nose. You're not supposed to breathe. You're not supposed to be a mouth breather. Like you're
Mm.
supposed to breathe through your nose. Like, bro.
The same
Anyways, yeah,
guys who
and
say that are like walking around like this, like
yeah,
the same.
exactly. And then, bro, and then they've got a collapsed jaw. Like you and I are just absolutely mogging them, and they're like, dude, there's so many benefits of mouth taping. And I
Yeah.
mean, for me, on nights that I do not use mouth tape, I feel hungover.
Mm.
I feel like I didn't have a good sleep. I feel hungover. I feel like you say, brain fog.
Mm.
First started mouth taping, I felt insane. Like it literally felt like I had a couple extra hours sleep at night. So it's so powerful, and like you and I said, like you've got free will, like go and try stuff out, you know. But I also think it comes down to the type of friends you have. Like if your friends are lame, they're not adventurous, they're not risk takers, they're very safe, they just go with the flow, they go with the crowd. You're also going to be less inclined to be quite, I don't know, quite out there, quite extreme. It's like even
Mm.
with the diet thing, like people thought I was extreme, but my friends were carnivores as well. All the people that I was listening to, and reading from, they were carnivores. So for me, it was normal. So I think that's also why it's so important. Like let's take this for example, Andrew. It is 8:45 on a Sunday evening. You and
Mm.
I are recording a podcast while there are other people at a festival right now. It's
Mm.
the quality of your friends.
And
It's
also
like,
the quality of your decisions as well. Yeah.
yeah, the quality of your decision, the quality of your friends, because like this for us is normal.
Mm.
Like creating content, going like you and I this morning went for a walk, then you
We
went to
first ate
gym
some.
at your
We
gym.
first ate some eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
First day
first,
some
we
then
first got some electrolytes. We can actually run through like a typical morning. I think people will find that valuable.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh well, so I can quickly run you through mine. So in the
Go
morning,
for it.
wake up, maybe I read a bit. Then I basically like hop in a cold plunge. Not like every single morning because it does require some like willpower. So like if you sap your willpower a lot, then you can't necessarily use that in
Mm,
your work. So but I would still do it like 4 or 5 days a week. It's still, and when I don't,
sure.
I do like a cold shower. So the
Mm,
cold is just amazing. And then yeah, like what's after that? Okay, hop in the shower, of course. Like dress, and while I get dressed, I also listen to like a podcast or audiobook in the background. Like I almost always
that's good.
constantly do that. And then
Mm,
I used to intermittent fast as well, but now I don't. I eat like a bit of yogurt, maybe some berries, and then like slam a protein shake as well. So
mm,
like the intermittent fasting, you do lose like 5% of gains as well over the long term. So
mm,
I've seen this where once you're a bit more intermediate in the lifting, every decimate, percentage counts. Like you want to be as
yeah.
optimized as possible. Like 2% gains over like 10 years is actually quite a lot of
Mm,
compounding. So if you miss that
mm,
5% like every morning when you
mm,
don't eat protein for like the first whatever, you're missing out on gains. Like you want at least like four protein spikes during your day. So you kind of want to split it up over 4 hours. That's like the most
mm,
optimal whatever. Like if you want to optimize it as much as possible, every 4 hours, like let's say you have 200 grams of protein per day, then you do 50 grams of protein every 4 hours, basically.
okay.
Just resetting my camera, but so yeah, like I'll do in the morning, I do a like salmon protein shake. That's like 40 grams protein total. Work for like 4 hours, 4 5 hours deep work, no distractions, and then I usually eat my first meal, go for maybe a walk, hit the gym, calls, and then just chill for the rest of
Mm,
the night.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Do
you
you
want to
find
optimize
do
everything.
do do you prefer to do your deep work first and then go train?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
But
I also like I agree with that.
one thing though,
So
like
mhm,
one thing on that is I train 4 days a week, right? Another 3 days of the week I do cardio, and I've noticed I split test a lot. Like I said in the car in the bakkie, I'm like,
mhm,
like a mad scientist, like constantly testing stuff.
Mm,
Like literally my grade two teacher called me a frustrated professor.
mm,
And if you translate it directly over into English, it's mad scientist. Like I was like a
mm,
fucking crazy kid, I would
mm,
like even in grade two, I was like all over the place, but I was extremely smart. Like I got like
mm,
very, very high marks without really studying. But then in like
mm,
high school, they kind of it's some bullshit, bro. Like then I
mm.
yeah, like fell off. But like
Yeah,
I didn't want to study the shit, like
yeah,
they forced you to learn the stuff. But like I
mm,
said, I love learning. I'm obsessed with learning, like books and
yeah,
podcasts. Like I'm obsessed with it. Like it's crazy. Even while I'm
mm,
in the gym, I'm listening to a podcast. Like I just love it on
mm,
the treadmill, everywhere, in the car, like constantly. Um,
mm,
I think there's a time and place for balance and like not like just being and letting the stuff like actually mix in your
mm.
brain and not just constantly consuming. Um, where was I going with that? Oh yeah,
Your
the
routine.
mad scientist part.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure where I went with that. Oh yeah, so like in the school system, they force you to learn. That's the thing. I'm not forced to learn. I'm doing it out of my own like enjoyment and
yeah,
curiosity, and that drives me. But when someone says you have to study this exact thing, but you don't want to,
yeah,
and you're gonna
yeah,
write a test on this in a week's time, what the fuck? That's not life.
yeah,
That life doesn't
yeah.
work that way.
100%. No, I completely agree. And I like what you said about like split testing, and that's yeah, 100% the same. Like what I've been recently testing, because what I really like doing is waking up early. So for like the last week since I got back from the States, I've been waking up at like 3 a.m.
Mm.
Typically like I usually wake up anytime between like 3 to 5 a.m. But it's been really cool like this last week. Bro, I landed back from the US like Monday night at 7 p.m., got to bed at 1 a.m., woke up at 5, ran 5Ks to gym, trained, ran back. I had so much energy. And then like the next few nights in a row, I was getting to bed at like 8 p.m., up at 3. And then I would do like some deep work. I'd like plan my day, record some videos, and then walk for an hour to gym, train, walk an hour back. And like I've tested working first versus exercising first. And I feel like I have more dopamine by just getting straight into the work in the morning because on my walk, like let's say I'm listening to
Oh
music,
yeah, then the willpower sapping a
yeah,
bit.
so I'm like I'm listening to music, or I'm listening to an audiobook, or I also like recording content while I'm on my
Mm.
walks, like short form content. Also then I'm just like replying to all my staff, I'm replying to clients, like while everyone's asleep, but I'm just catching up on messages. Like I'm checking emails while I'm walking and that. And then when I train, like I'm listening to music while I train, and I've consumed a lot of pre-workout. And then when I walk back, so by the time I'm back, bro, like my
Mm.
dopamine, like I've been doing a lot of like, obviously the thing that spikes dopamine is novelty. So
Yeah.
it's obviously like, like my walk, I'm seeing the beach, I'm seeing the ocean, I'm listening to new music, I'm replying to new messages. So there's a lot of novel things that are occurring. And so I do find it harder to focus once I get back from training. So what I've been like testing is just delaying the training and just getting more deep work done first thing as I wake up.
Mm. I don't know if I completed my point on that where it's like where I said that the days I don't train and I do cardio, I tested doing it in the morning and just like cardio sauna, just like an hour cardio and sauna. It's not too much. And then I got to work, like I was like I don't know, like cardio in the morning just does something to me. Like I don't know, I feel so good afterwards. And then
Mm.
that goodness kind of translate over into the work.
Oh, so you find you're more productive doing that?
Yeah, just like cardio in the morning, but not like weights and training and cardio and sauna and then
Mm.
work. That's a bit too much.
Mm.
Some cardio in the morning I think is very, very good. Gets juices
Yeah.
flowing. Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you. But something I used to do when I was in university is I'd go to bed like early 8, wake up at 3, and then I'll just study for like hours. And then, bro, by the time like the sun comes up, I've done more work than I could ever have done like during the day with all the
Mm,
distractions. So I think like waking up super early, It's honestly just such a life hack.
And were you where you said something along the lines of you woke up and you had just like all this energy. I think split testing with like having a partner and being single, like there's definitely with a partner you definitely have more mental energy that you can focus on your work than like
For
single
sure.
going out and like mingling and stuff.
For sure. I think, you know what they even said that I heard this recently where they said that I think Chris Williamson was saying it, but it's basically like when you're in a relationship and like kids and whatever, like you're
Oh yeah,
they
especially kids.
they said that yeah, especially because they said that like a man's testosterone drops to a degree. I don't really think it's the case for just dating someone or being married to someone that your testosterone drops, but
Oh no, no, no.
they spoke about how like your the chemistry that is forming from you like bonding with you know I hate that word partner, like your spouse or your your spouse or your girlfriend.
Yeah, it's the first time I used
um
partner, by the way.
no,
Yeah.
I know it's yeah, cuck word. But like yeah, your spouse or your girlfriend. I think that your brain really does get you to just hone in and like get rid of distractions, which is so good. And yeah, I think it's such a life hack. Although I will say, when you said split testing with having a girlfriend or whatever,
Yeah, not at the same time.
I thought you were gonna I thought no, I thought you were gonna mention same time. I thought you were gonna mention like how easy it is to get up early in the morning. Like if someone who's in a relationship can wake up earlier because or like they might not because they're comfy in bed versus I don't really think it plays a part. Maybe in winter, but otherwise I don't think it really plays a part. But that's where I thought you were going.
Mm-mm. Yeah, like, oh fuck, my light. Shit almost fell. Yeah, I feel like it's just less mental effort because you kind of not locked someone down, but like you got someone that you come home to.
Mm.
Then all the time that you're not there, you can just focus on work or like gym or
Yeah.
whatever. But when you're at the gym, let's say single, bro, I did the craziest thing today at the gym. Like, I did not think I was gonna do that. But we can get into it. Like, you're at the gym, and obviously you're hitting the weights, and like, like I'm dialed in. But every now and then, you like your eyes are looking around, whatever. But when you know you got a goal at home, it's like you just focused on hitting the weights. You're more efficient. You're more focused because you know you got someone at home. That's kind of like it's the same with work. Uh, all of it. So I think the new meta now is relationships and like monogamy. That's the new meta. Like 10 years ago, it was like the Dan Bilzerian, just like crazy lifestyle and just like bunch of women, just like everything. And it's like this ups and down, well, not ups and downs, but trends like that come and go, right?
Mm.
And now the trend is monogamy. Like that's now the in thing. It's like the Dan
Yeah.
Martel with like his wife and Christian values and
Mm.
like kids and business. Like that is now the meta. Obviously don't want to do things for the meta, but I'm just saying that is
Yeah.
the new in thing right now.
Yeah. 100%. And I think a lot of people are kind of just waking up to the emptiness of hedonism. And like Dan Bilzerian has said, he said like he took
Oh yeah.
hedonism to the edge of the earth and he was
And
not happy.
And he also said that
Um,
on that point, he also said that when he just was like in a semi long-term relationship with one partner and like just him and his partner and his like just relationship, whatever was in that time, semi long-term, and the other is with his friend and girlfriend, right? Then it was just
mm,
much better than like a bunch of girls just doing all of this crazy stuff.
yeah, yeah. And I think it's also like think about this, okay? Always I was literally on the phone with two of my friends while I was at gym, and I said like pretty much all of my decisions, a lot of my decisions I make in consideration of my bloodline. And I always think like what would the bloodline think? Like what will my future children think, you know?
Mm-mm.
And the things like obviously like um the opposite of monogamy. I'm not going to say polygamy because there's a lot of things that are opposite to monogamy, but
Mm.
like the opposite of monogamy, it's like how many of these guys are procreating and having children? Like, not really. Like, there's no there's no lineage, there's no bloodline that's coming from it. It's all just hedonism and pleasure. Whereas like committed to someone like getting married, it's like you're doing all of this with the intention of continuing your bloodline. And it's like doing things that lead to procreation or that lead to, like, you and I said again, it's the creating versus the consuming. Like so much of this hedonism and kind of like non-committing and just, seeing multiple people at the same time. It's like you're not essentially creating, you're just being a consumer. But being monogamous, dating with the intention of marriage, kids, it's like it's a productive thing that you're doing. You are creating something. Like you're creating a family, you're creating a lineage, you're creating a bloodline. And yeah, I like you said, it's not just about following trends, but it's really cool to see that monogamy and procreation is
Mm.
getting back into trend. It's like I was telling someone the other day that it used to be cool to be an atheist and it used to be cool to like not be religious. Now it's cool to be religious. Like even I just look at my feed, like all the like the coolest edits, the most based edits are
Oh,
like
yeah.
young, like Christians or Catholic or Orthodox. And it's cool, bro, because people have realized like they've looked at the mainstream media, they've looked at entertainment, they've looked at all the stuff, and they just see it's this fruitless, hedonistic meaningless pursuit. And, people realize they're being lied to. It's like they realize that the entertainment industry and everything has been trying to brainwash them. And it's like people are going, no, like this actually doesn't satisfy me. Like, so many people are going, I do want to live on my own piece of land, and I do want a husband, or I do want a wife, and I do want like 10 kids. And I want to eat clean and I want sunshine and all of that. And so it's really cool and I want religion, I want values. So it's really cool to see that that's what's in or, gaining popularity.
Yeah. I think there was a slight lag. I'm not sure if the camera, I think it's recording separately. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, I got all of it. It's just like a slight lag, but I think we're good. So yeah, like what can I say on that? I still think there's a group of people who's still going even harder on the hedonistic side. Like it's like the divide once again,
Mm,
with like pleasure is just
mm,
getting crazy, like with AI girlfriends and stuff like that. It's just it's definitely there's definitely a segment of the world that's just gonna like die out, right? But I think
mm,
now that I say that, I think Eckhart Tolle talks about this. There's like a great awakening happening. Like people who are semi-awake are waking up even more,
mm,
and his book
mm.
is called A New
Yeah,
Earth. I've read like half of the
yeah.
audiobook or like listened to half of the audiobook, but like he
Mm,
talks about a new earth where like it's literally a new earth. People are waking up and yeah, with AI and stuff, I think, yeah, like I said, there's definitely people just going down main road, just like craziness. But like a
mm,
select group of people, and like you might think, oh, this craziness is happening. I can't find my wife or whatever. But like you said, there's a group of people who are slowly waking up, and you can find um, you know, your mates
mm.
there.
100%. And I think something that's so, oh, it's so blaringly obvious to those who have seen it, but to those who haven't, it's, like I really like that saying where it says, don't chase the butterflies, build a garden and the butterflies will come. And, there's a lot of guys who are like making seeking after girls like their number one priority. But it's like, bro, if you put all that effort into your mission, your purpose, your business, your diet, your status, your network, your lifestyle, bro, the right person would come along anyways. And that's what you want, is you want to be pursuing your purpose so hard. You want to be so dedicated towards that the only person who would stay in your life is someone who could keep pace with what you're doing.
Mm,
So you should just be focused on your purpose. And your purpose is going to give you the most pleasure anyways. And the thing is also, like let's talk from the male perspective and the female perspective is women want to be with a man where his mission is his mission, where she's not his main mission.
Mm.
Like his mission in life is the priority, and she's able to join alongside that. And because it shows competency, you know. The thing is, if a girl's dating a guy and she becomes his number one priority, she becomes his entire world. It's like they lose attraction because in their mind, this guy's not a strong leader. He's not competent because he doesn't have a purpose higher than them.
Yeah, like
And
it goes to the subconsciously. Like
exactly,
they try and
it's
rail
all of
you
this is
off the
subconscious.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's subconscious programming where you on a mission and then she's like, oh, lay in a little bit or like eat this pizza or like I know you're on a diet, but like you've been working so hard, like just have the slice of pizza. Like it's all these small things. And every now and then it's fine. Like, but if the
Mhm.
main mission just like deviates, then you're cooked. Like if
Yeah.
she's seeing, okay, like me, this woman, can derail this masculine figure from his mission. Like the world and a woman are very much the same. Like the world will test you, and a woman will test
Mhm.
you. So if the
Mhm.
woman tests you and you fail, the world will test you and you'll fail, and you're not a good
Mhm.
partner. And therefore, you're
100%.
gonna
And
you're gonna die, and she's not gonna have kids, and they're all gonna die, and it's the end of the world. So that's basically
yeah.
how, like, subconsciously and evolutionary speaking, that's
Mhm.
how they see it. They're not like, and they say, oh, I want a guy who's like, with me all the time, or like, doesn't go to the gym or lazy, and they say that, but when it actually happens, they're like,
Mhm.
oh, I can't trust this guy.
Exactly. And that's the thing is like Jordan Peterson speaks about this. He says that women bear the biggest burden in pregnancy. And so he speaks about how their biology is exceptionally selective about who they reproduce with. And because it's like if they reproduce with the wrong guy and that guy's not competent, he's not resourceful, then her and her children are screwed.
Yeah,
And that's why it's like attraction is purely biological.
it's
It's
not a
like,
choice. It's not a choice.
yeah, exactly. It's like, is this guy competent? Is this guy resourceful? And then, you know, they will be attracted to the guy who they deem competent and resourceful.
Mm,
And that's why it's like there's the list of benefits of just being a creator rather than a consumer are endless. It's like financial benefits, health benefits, marital benefits. Like it's just the list goes on and on and on and on. And I think people really, really just need to get out there and just start doing stuff. Just start
mm,
throwing stuff at the wall and see what
yeah,
sticks, see what you enjoy.
do stuff.
Just do stuff, bro. Just
Yeah.
go outside. Just do stuff.
I think one thing you mentioned where it's like, the guy's really focused on work and dialed in and like monk mode and like, all of this stuff.
Mhm.
And then here's the thing where I kind of disagree with, or not disagree with, but might majority of men listening to this might get it wrong. They might see like a pretty girl at the gym and like their primal instinct is like, yo, I need to talk to this girl. But they're like, oh no, no, like I'm focused on work, like I can't do this. I need to gym. I need to get this set. Like, but like what are you doing? That's like what's like the reason you're doing like a big majority, like there was this quote, my mind's all over the place, but there was this quote that said, if it was with all the money, like, what, you remember that quote
The
where it's like,
Aristotle, the
yeah,
Aristotle
yeah,
quote, yeah.
yeah, if it
If
weren't
they
for
what if they
women, there would be no meaning to money or something like that. Something like that. So essentially, like, if there was no woman on this planet, men would just like lay on their mattress floor and TV and
Mhm.
like, like we wouldn't care as much. But there's a reason we buy the Ferrari and all this, so we can like increase our maybe status among the peers, and then you are the better option, whatever the case. So you are essentially doing this. A big part is to attract the best possible mate you can. And now that you find you hitting the gym, you focus on your work, and you see your wife, your potential wife, walk in front of you, and you're just like, no, 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 I'm like focus on the set. Like, what are you doing? Like this is
Yeah,
part
I
of the
hear you.
masculine pursuit. It's like doing
I
challenging
hear you.
things. Like you are gonna face a rejection, maybe. Like
Mm,
that is part of it. And like a similar thing
mm,
happened today, where it's like wasn't necessarily rejected, but like I saw these two girls at the gym, right? And I saw like this older guy talking to them. I'm like, okay, surely this is their father or something. And I asked the father for permission to talk to them. I'm like, fuck. that was tough, but yeah, I had to do
Hmm.
it.
Yeah. Well, bro, you know, it's also something that I think about a lot is how testosterone levels affect courage. And, you know, like Andrew Huberman says that testosterone makes hard things feel good. And it's literally like the higher test you are, stuff that scares other people is not really going to scare you. And so, like, you can just prime your biology to make you more successful, to make you take bigger risks. And it's like again, we just come down to the benefits of doing stuff, of creating, of being outside. Because now like your testosterone levels are better, so now you're taking bigger risks in
Oh, it's like an
relationships.
infinite flywheel effect. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're going and approaching the girl you want. You know, like when there's a hard conversation to be had with
Oh, yeah.
friends or employees or you know in your relationship, like you're willing to have that hard conversation. And the thing is, like, I also heard an interesting thing where this guy said that, you know, back in the day, like before Twitter, where you could just say outlandish stuff to people without, you know, repercussion.
Mm,
Like back in the day, if you were confrontational, if you said something confrontational, you were essentially putting your body on the line because you physically were going to have to defend your opinion.
yeah.
Now, the fact that you can hide behind a keyboard and you don't have to physically defend your opinion. Yeah. So, anyways, basically, it's like the stronger you are, the higher testosterone, your body believes that you're capable of defending your opinion. And so you're gonna be more you're going to be more controversial, you're going to be more outspoken, you're going to be more daring, you're going to be more risk taking. And so it's like in life, doing stuff that is productive just ends up benefiting every other part of your life.
Infinite flywheel effect. But I also think a lot of guys, I think I've got like an 80% male audience. And a lot of guys, or like 90, I'm not sure, but it's high. And they're too focused maybe on like the testosterone optimization part, right? Like
Mhm.
the perfect sleep and like the exact testosterone Tonga Ali milligrams taken at the exact
Tongarali.
like the exact milligram of steak, and I need to eat it 1 hour
Mm,
exactly before. Like they too focus on that they skip on actually just doing the courageous thing. Like I feel like
mm,
doing the courageous thing boosts your testosterone as well. It's not
mm.
just like obviously you want to optimize your testosterone as much as
Yeah,
possible, but then when a
yeah.
courageous opportunity presents itself, like you need to
Mm.
act on that, and that courage also boosts your test. And
100%.
then it's like you can't
Did you
yeah.
hear did you hear about that study where they said they put guys in sports cars and I think they were Porsches and then the guy's testosterone literally increased
Yeah,
by like
yeah.
by racing in sports cars.
Like
So
like
and
doing
then
hard
even like
shit.
you and I this morning were speaking about like handguns and then we spoke about how like oh you definitely gonna have like a test increase after getting a handgun and you were like 100%
For sure.
100%.
For sure. Like if you go out in the like that video I sent you of the guy like fishing like
Mhm.
catching
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
sharks.
yeah. Catching the shark,
Bro,
yeah.
there's no way you come out of that like you enter the water like 600 milligrams, you come out 1,100. Like there's no way.
Sure.
Like it's for sure like doing hard stuff actually increases your test.
Mm,
I I feel like that's more important than like the exact 7 hours and 58 minutes of sleep you got, you know?
yeah, for sure. But I do think 100%, but I do think also something like, for example, like decreasing your body fat,
Oh yeah.
eating like enough protein, eating quality food. It's just like you're priming your body to constantly be in a state of high performance. Also, Andrew, I like what we said yesterday with that group when we were like, as men, we like to be stressed. Like if I'm not feeling stressed, I'm stressed.
Yeah.
And and it's cool. Like I often think about it, how it's like we do crave that.
Yeah, like when when things are going well, I'm stressed stressed out, bro. Like no. And when I'm stressed out, I'm like calm, peace. Like it's pretty cool.
Mm.
Have you read Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle? Oh yeah,
Parts of it.
yeah,
I
like
haven't
I highly
finished it, yeah.
recommend. It's so good book.
Mm.
Like my mom went through like the first chapter, and she's like, "Oh, it's too boring." I'm like, No way. Like if there's one thing you need to
No
do is read.
way.
If there's one thing you need to do is read this book. So when a traumatic, like let's say you're driving your car and someone, cuts in front of you, just like a taxi, just craziness, and you kind of have to pivot a bit. Most people just instantly like they feel this anger emotion come up and instantly act on it,
Mm,
right?
mm,
But I've kind of trained myself where a like a crazy stimulus enters my world, like through my senses, like
yeah.
eyes, ears, whatever, that triggers a calmness in me, like a complete presentness, a present state. So where
Mm,
most people they instantly act on it, like the delay between that's the Viktor Frankl quote, I think, between stimulus and
mm,
response, there's freedom. That's freedom,
yo.
right? And but when you kind of like maybe meditate more or like read these books and just be more present and just be more, like the response time from stimulus, like something crazy happening, to your
Mm,
response is delayed, so you can think. Most
mm,
people like they cut them off, oh gun, boom, like and then their life is over. It's just like not
yeah.
thinking. But when it's delay, it's like I've trained myself where it's a crazy stimulus, then I'm present. I can think
Mm,
completely straight in that moment. I'm so calm.
yeah.
And you wanna I feel like that's very important to have.
Mm, yeah. 100%. I think it also exactly what you're saying. Like you see something just completely derail someone else, whereas for you, like it doesn't really affect you.
Mm.
And I also think like faith is a huge, huge factor in that because you're not so absorbed with the senses, what you can see, hear, taste, um,
Yeah.
touch, smell. Like you're more like your spiritual senses are heightened. And then when like the stimulus happens, it doesn't have such a strong effect on you because you're not that sense realm, you know? And like the Bible is so clear about this. It talks about like being in the spirit versus being in the flesh. And like it says, bro, one of the best scriptures in the Bible, it says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. How
Mm.
beautiful is that, bro? To be spiritually minded is life and peace, but to be carnally minded is death. And the carnal, it's like the sense realm. So living your whole life just in the sense realm will always lead to death. But to be spiritually minded is life and peace. And also, I think about this a lot. Is like so many guys are so obsessed with the looks, money, status, looks, money, status,
Like the
looks,
looks
money, status,
maxing.
SMV, SMV, increase my SMV, increase my status, increase my looks, increase my money. Da, 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 da. Like, yes, it's good to be productive.
Mm.
It's good to keep, like, to become more and more successful in every realm of life. But it's like there does get to a point where what you thought was going to end up benefiting you ends up bringing death. And it says to be spiritually minded as life and peace. Like God wants you present. He wants you to enjoy union with Him. And often, like the Bible says, that the cares of this world choke the word in your heart and you become unfruitful. And so, like, the Bible says, above all things, guard your heart. And it's quite easy to let your heart be so consumed with the cares of this world. Like, oh, what will this girl think of me? Oh, what will this friend group think? Oh, like, what's my SMV? What's, looks, money, status, all this stuff, bro. And like, even if you listen to this guy Clavicular now, like, so obsessed with looks maxing, like to a point where it's detrimental.
Mm.
And he's doing a lot of things that are like obviously I know a lot of this is a part of his personal brand and he's going to monetize off of this, but there is a point also where it's like what you're doing is detrimental to you.
Mm.
And he even said, he's not longevity maxing, he's looks maxing. So, he's like been blasting gear since he was 14 years old. And
And
he
it
even
still
says
looks
like,
mad, bro.
yeah, and he even says like, he knows it's not good for his longevity. So the thing is like, you know, get to know God as your father, enjoy union with your father, and like always have the priorities correct. Like chasing looks, money, status, all this stuff should not be at expense of the state of your heart and should not be at the expense of I don't know, like your God's will for your life. Like you shouldn't be if you know that there's a certain direction God doesn't want you to go, and you're doing it anyways because you think it's gonna lead to a high SMV or looks money status, whatever. Like literally compromising your belief system in favor of money or fame or whatever. It's like, bro, why? It's that scripture. What does it benefit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? And
Mm,
so I think this is also something that needs to be spoken about a lot in especially like the online money world is like, bro, it does get to a point where this stuff is bad for you, like where it's detrimental to you. And like the state of your heart is the most important thing. And my friend Courtney and I, we were speaking about this week, and we said like, what is the point of having so much success according to the world's terms, but you have zero peace and
mm.
you are full of anxiety. Like you're so scared that some dude's richer than you, or you're so scared that some guy looks better than you. And like it does get to a point where it can absolutely consume you.
And you know why they do all of this is to gain peace. That's the
Mm,
reason they do all of this. It's like
exactly.
the Chris Williamson thing. It's like um sacrifice the thing you want that's supposed to get it, you know? Like you're
Sure.
sacrificing peace to maybe make more money. Like you obviously like in this journey we're kind of sacrificing peace to gain these things to once again get us peace. Like, why not
Mm,
just scratch the maybe success part and then you're left with peace
mm,
anyway? But that's like the monk phase where you just like renounce most of it. And even Naval,
mm.
which is like my
Yeah.
spirit animal, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and he said, "Come on." No, I forgot. Oh, what did he
I
say?
know, I know
He said a
exactly, I
lot of
know
things.
exactly I know exactly what quote you're trying to mention because I was reading it in his almanac the other day, but I also can't remember it.
Well, what was it about again? It's like, um,
He's basically said something like you can either kind of like become a monk and not desire
oh, yes,
anything,
I've got it. Yeah, it's
not
much
desire
easier.
anything.
It's much easier
Mm,
it's much easier to achieve your materialistic desires than it is to renounce them. So he says,
yeah,
first become a king. First become a king. Like do all this stuff. Like get the money. Like reasonably where
yeah,
it's not like taking over your life, but like you can kind of think for
yeah,
a second, and then you become the
mm,
philosopher. You need to become a philosopher king. But it's much easier to become a
yeah,
king first, and then a philosopher, than a philosopher, then a
exactly,
king. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, 100%. And then also it's like, the guys who say money doesn't mean everything are always the guys who have money, like who've made it, and that's what Naval was saying is like it's easier, like you say, to go from king to being a philosopher.
Mm. I think it's like
Yeah.
I think the people who say, "Oh, money isn't everything," it's like the people on either spectrums. It's like they make money their god, the poor people and the richest people.
Mm,
The both of them make money they got. It's like the poorest people, like the poor,
yeah.
obviously aside from life circumstances and such, but just like, maybe just below average, whatever, um, they make money they got because they are constantly thinking about money. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like they are constantly thinking about bills to pay and stuff to do. So like they are kind of the hypocrite in this sense. And then also the
yeah.
richest people are also just thinking about money all the time. I'm not saying you
Mm,
should be like the balance. I would say a bit more like in the other in the abundance part of it. I think it's a bit more than average maybe.
yeah.
That's literally what generosity means is having more than enough, like more than you
Enough. Yeah.
have. So I think leaning a bit more towards that, but you don't want to make it everything because it's not. It
Mm,
just solves your money problems,
yeah. 100%.
and then you're left with
Yeah,
the
that's
things that
good,
money
bro.
can't solve. Yeah. And I recently
That's good.
changed my stance on like how they say men peak at like 36 and like you should get a partner. Then I completely changed my stance on that. Like I think it's much more valuable to grow with someone than it is to like
Mm,
reach the peak and then like yo where you at, just like I
mm,
don't think I don't want to be the guy who's like mid-30s in the club, you're like looking for my wife like that. I don't
yeah.
want that. It's not like I want to get married now, but like more
Mm,
long-term stuff. I think long-term relationships is definitely the move.
yeah. I completely agree, bro. And
Mm.
I think that there is a lot of good with the Red Pill movement,
Yeah.
but there's also a lot of bad.
Mm. I agree. We can definitely get into the Red Bull stuff in the future. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
that's a good place to wrap it up. I'm
yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, I've got just this Monday, then I'm going on a bunch of trips. So I'm excited for that. I
Amazing.
actually recently enjoyed I liked like working in coffee shops actually. It's actually pretty fun. And I heard
I
like on
also I feel like I can focus really well.
yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. It's like Ryan Holiday said this with Sam Harris on a podcast. And he's like when there's a bit of chaos happening in the background, right? Like
Mm,
it's just enough for you to then focus on your work in some aspect. I'm not sure like they're crazy like psychologists and like
mm,
said some big words that I don't quite understand, but it makes sense. Like
mm.
if it's just a bit chaos happening in the background, it's like your brain like something happens where it focuses a bit on that, but not too much, and then you can focus the rest on your work. But when it's
Mhm.
completely still and it's just your work, your brain is kind of looking for distractions, if that makes sense. But if there's
Yeah,
already distractions in the background, then that part of the brain is taken care of, and then all that's left is the focus. Yeah, but I don't do deep
100%.
work at a coffee shop. I do like calls and like basically team meetings and like maybe writing a newsletter, a bit more like
Mm,
that type of work.
yeah. I've got a question for you. When you do deep work, do you do the Hormozy method, like the earplugs and the, or what do you do?
No, no. So I just what's been working pretty well is I type in clock and I just open my clock and I do 4 hours on the dot. And every time I take a break, I pause the clock.
Yeah.
It ends up taking like 4.5 hours with like breaks and maybe I get some blueberries or another coffee, pause it, go to the bathroom.
Mm,
It takes like 4.5 hours. And then after that, I've done so much research. Like I've optimized, like I said, mad fucking scientist, like optimized just even to the keyboard I have, like split tested my
mm,
keyboard. The other one was a bit too high. Like even, like what measurements stand to use on my keyboard, like
yeah.
all of this typing speed.
Mm,
And I've tested. I'm like with the deep work. I just look like the Brain FM. I just do that and just lock in. Black coffee. There we go
I love that.
in the flow state. Yeah,
That's awesome, bro. And
yeah,
what time do you start?
yeah.
Like,
Eight
you
till
start
12
at
is like
8.
yeah, 8 till 12
Okay.
usually. I wake up at around 7. So
Okay.
yeah,
Awesome.
good bro. There's
Okay.
a lot of niche
Bro,
knowledge in
this
this
is
one.
awesome. Yeah. No, this is good, bro.
Oh yeah, so
Sweet.
what you're working
Mhm.
on a bunch of things. Like I see your
Yeah.
Instagram
Yeah.
accounts are popping off. That just shows the
Yeah.
consistency. Most
Mm,
people like that they post videos, maybe it doesn't do as well in the beginning. They're like, ah, this isn't for me, I can't do this. But now stuff is popping
yeah.
off. It just shows
Yeah.
consistency pays.
Well, yeah, see, this is the thing, bro. Is like Naval speaks about it. He says like if you do something that like he said, if you productize yourself, you do something that you're naturally curious about, you're gonna be so consistent about it because you were gonna do it anyways.
Mm,
And so for me, like I'm going super heavy on Christian content because it's what I truly deeply care about. It's the thing I care about the most, you know. It's what I've cared about since I was a teenager. And for me, it's something I'm naturally curious about. Like the books I read by far the most are theological books. Like the videos I watch on YouTube are by far it's theology.
mm.
Um,
Show me your
and
watch
it's like
later, and I'll tell you your future.
yeah, exactly. So for me, bro, like the books I read, the conferences I go to, the videos I watch, it's like 90% theology.
Mm.
It's what I honestly care about the most, what I'm curious about the most. And you know, like Naval says, productize yourself. And I've seen, yeah, it's just been so epic, you know, like I would make this content even if no one was watching. You know, it's like I love it so much, and the fact that there are, you know, thousands of people that are watching it and being blessed by it and being encouraged by it, it's so awesome. It's so rewarding. And like I was preaching in America this year. The plan is next year to do a lot more preaching in America as well, maybe even Europe. But yeah, it's what I enjoy doing the most. So yeah, just focused on business and then just like going all in on ministry and Christian content.
And what's
And
the channel? I know there was one of where you preached there with Tommy. That was a very good one.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
call
So the
God
ch
Dad. I think that was the title.
yeah,
That was good.
yeah. So the my ministry's name is Eternal Union. So if you just search Matthew Weyers Eternal Union on like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, it'll come up. But yeah, like you said, that title, Call God Dad. The thing that excites me the most about making this type of content is introducing people to God as their father. And it's such a, in Christianity, it's in some sense, it's like quite rare for people to call God dad, even though that's the number one way that Jesus referred to as God, is he called him father, called him dad. And when I was about, I think, 19 years old, and I'd given up on religion, God started teaching me about knowing him as dad, not God, but dad. And it completely changed my entire life. And so I'm so passionate about introducing people to God as their father. Um, and yeah, that's who he is. He's always been your dad. You've always been his child. Before the heavens and earth were created, you were his child. And like you are going to have the most epic life, the most epic adventure when you know him as dad. Because if I just see him as this distant deity, it's going to cause separation. It's going to cause you to like not be very open with him. It's going to also cause you to be somewhat afraid of him. But if you know that he's your dad, that he's one with you, it's like there's no fear. There's just
Mm.
the closest friendship, closest relationship where you talk to him about everything, like your deepest desires, your biggest fears, like what you struggle with. And the thing is, like, religion makes people wear this mask where that everything's okay, things. But when you see him as your dad, as like your best friend, you talk to him about absolutely everything. And it's like you have the smartest person, the wisest person in all of existence wanting to hear from you 24/7, ready to answer you 24/7. And so you can just have such a successful life in business, in relationships, and all of this because there's this freedom to communicate with your dad at any time. And I mean, like all business decisions I've made, like I speak to him about it, relationship decisions, I speak to him about it. But it's because there's that space for that familiarity between him and I, which I wouldn't have if I just viewed him as this distant deity.
Mm. That like constantly shames you and like you've done something wrong, is gonna punish you and
Mm.
stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
does not
No,
work.
he's
What
your
is that quote I shared with
mm.
you on WhatsApp? It was so good. I think it was
Oh,
from Tommy, and I
I'll put
definitely
I'll
um
I'll pull it up.
recommend you read the book Unveiled from Tommy.
Yeah, unveiled by Tommy. Tommy said, but you sent this to me. Law and condemnation never made anyone holy. It only made good actors. Grace is the only power that actually changes your desires from the inside.
Hmm. That it.
That is so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
that was awesome.
definitely
Well, bro, that was a fantastic podcast.
yeah, I'll definitely link
Yeah,
all the stuff down below.
definitely.
Yeah, link all the stuff down below. People can just click it
Amazing.
and can consume some of that content.
Am-
And hopefully,
Amazing.
yeah, consume enough. And then after a while, once you've consumed so much, it's like there's just this part of you that wants to create. Well, that's the goal for everyone,
Yeah.
really. Like Naval also said, he wishes in the
Mm.
future there's going to be 8 billion companies. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Well, bro, that was a good podcast, and I look forward to the next one.
Let's do it. Cheers, man.
Awesome. Cheers, brother.